Good day, grade 11s. Today I want us to continue where we left off yesterday. Yesterday we have done only the transformation of a business plan into an action plan. Then we went through the action plan. We went through the contents of a business plan, what must be done before we transform that business plan into an action plan. Then on the first slide of today, we have the definition of an action plan. It is a document stating what must be done, who will do it, and by when it will be done. It is a process that will help to focus ideas and to decide on the steps to achieve a particular goal. That is the definition of action plan, and what kind of a process is it, and then how is it going to help us? It will help us to focus ideas and to decide on the steps to achieve a particular goal. On the next slide, we have action plan. It is an action plan is needed to implement the business plan and show how activities will be organized to achieve the goals of the business. We need to implement an action plan. We need to implement the business plan and show how activities will be organized to achieve the goals of the business plan. Then preparing an action plan. The action plan is based on a number of questions. What must happen? Who is responsible for what? When will activity start? When will activity end? Did the activity take place or what went wrong? Then you must record or review if the activity has taken place or maybe something went wrong and the activity didn't take place. Then we have advantages of an action plan. It enables projects to be achieved within a specified time. Here, you have to set up a time frame. Then some of the projects must be achieved within a set time. Then it helps the person responsible for achieving certain goals to be more organized. Person responsible for achieving certain goals must be more organized. Then it is a control measure against which standards and performance can be measured. The standards and performance of people that are responsible for carrying out certain activities must be measured. Then it prioritizes activities by their importance. Some activities are more important than the others. So one of the advantages of an action plan is to prioritize such activities. Then we have planning tools. 1.3.1 timelines. In our textbook, we have an example of a timeline on page 120. What is happening on page 120? We have a timeline there, and then we have the month June, then we have the dates from the 1st of June up to the 30th of June, and then what is the task or activity that must be carried out? The question paper must be set, and it must also be printed, and then the question paper must be completed. Someone must set a question paper and complete by the 23rd of June. Obviously, it is written on the timeline that by the 23rd of June, that question paper was completed. And then the printing must also be done by the 28th of June. That is a timeline. It shows a timeline is a line on which time and activities are marked. It is a simple tool that lists all the activities that need to be done and the date order in which they will be completed. Here, one activity must be done by this day, and then the other activity must start being carried out by the next day. Right, and then we have task analysis. It is on page 122 in our textbook. Task analysis evaluates different tasks. We have dependent tasks or dependency relationship. These are tasks that cannot begin until other tasks have been completed. We have parallel tasks that are tasks that can be done at the same time as other tasks. Some tasks cannot be carried out before we can carry out some other tasks. We call that a dependency relationship or a dependent task. So when we are building, we cannot start plastering without building. We must first build, and then after building, we plaster. That is a dependency relationship. There is no way someone can start plastering without building. Then we have the parallel tasks. They can happen, whereas the other activities are also taking place. They can be done at the same time. Then on the we have Gantt charts and work breakdown structure. The Gantt charts on page 122. Gantt charts are bar charts or graphs that show the duration of each task against the progression of time. They are tools often used by project managers in their planning to coordinate and track the different tasks in a project. Then when we look at an example of a Gantt chart on page 122, it is a construction, a Gantt chart for a building project. Then the project must be carried out from the 10th of August until the 30th of November. Then brickwork starts from the 20th of August until the 15th of September. From there, plastering must start from the 30th of August until the 10th of October, which means brickwork can start from the 20th of August until the 30th of August, and then before the brickwork can be completely done, then plastering can begin. Right, and then we also have electrical. When we look at electrical can be done at the same time with plastering. That's according to our example on page 122. At the bottom there, it says a Gantt chart for a building project. That is an example of a Gantt chart. Some activities can take place while the other activities are continuing, but some must be done before the others can be done. And then we have the advantages of Gantt charts. They are easy to prepare, obvious. When we look at this example on page 122, it's very easy to prepare a Gantt chart. Then they are easy to read and understand. Yes, we look at it, you just read and understand it as easy as ABC. Then events are shown in chronological order. Events are shown in sequence. Then the time needed for an activity is shown visually. Yes, visually we can see that those activities are being colored differently. They are being differed by different colors. Visually they can be shown. Managers and team members can see which activities run at the same time concurrently. Then team members can see who is responsible for each activity. They show progress on an activity. Interrelated tasks can be seen at a glance. More information can be included by using color coding and key symbols. If adjustments have to be made, it is easy to see the effect on the other activities. Those are the advantages of a Gantt chart. If you want to go through a Gantt chart thoroughly, please go to page 122 of your textbook, and then you can even easily go through that example and redo it and see the dependency relationship there, what comes before what can be done concurrently. On to the next slide. We have critical path analysis, especially useful for large projects. CPA calculates the maximum time for each task to be completed and identifies tasks that can be delayed. Then we have the PET analysis. PET stands for Program Evaluation and Review Technique, which was developed in the late 1950s. A PET network is a diagram that looks like a flowchart. It shows the order of activities needed to complete a project and the time or cost of each activity. When using a PET network, a project manager must think about what has to be done, determine which events depend on one another, and identify potential trouble spots. To construct a PET network, you need to know three terms: events, activities, and critical path. Events are endpoints indicating that major activities are completed, and then activities are actions that take place. Then the critical path is the longest or most time-consuming order of events and activities that is needed to complete the project in the shortest amount of time. Then we have the collaborative teamwork. When working in collaboration with partners to create action plans, teams need to ask the following questions. What are the main goals and mission statement of our project? How much time do we have to work together? What information, resources, and power do we need to implement our project's goals and mission? What are the possible barriers to meeting our project's goals? Are there alternative courses of action? Once major goals are identified, Teams can break up into smaller groups. That is collaborative teamwork. Questions that we must answer when we want to use collaborative teamwork. And then we have to go to the last slide of our presentation is the end of topic questions. You are going to answer these questions in your red book. They are based on yesterday and today's presentation. Good luck, grade 11s.